Wow, what can you say about that one? Oh dear, Na'Vi have absolutely thrown down the gauntlet. They got the glove out, they slapped him for a duel, and Big did not show up. A spectacular performance from the CIS squad, and Electronic and Simple giving these two a lesson.
Plan didn't show up. Simple and Electronic definitely did. They were just hammer and tong going through this one as quickly as possible. Had a nice quick game for all the viewers, but they did it in a flashy style. There was lots of big kills coming through, and it was entertaining for what it was. I want to highlight the utility use from Na'Vi early was fantastic. Then once they knew that they were just slamming Big, at that point their aggression came in, and there it was all over.
Yeah, I just want to talk about that something is seriously wrong in the Big camp right now. You saw them take a timeout, and Tabson was talking the entire time. I don't think we saw Gobi say a single word during that timeout.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, hello.
They're still here? I thought they would have left.
Oh, yes. I mean, the UK crowd silence just a little bit by Na'Vi, but when the stars are hitting that hard, I mean, you can still kind of just sit back and enjoy it. Simple and Electronic. The nade usage, I'd love to hear a little bit more explanation of that, Chad. You're suggesting that Na'Vi kind of had Big's number in that regard.
Well, you could see how well prepared they were for when territory was taken. Then they got to the choke points to actually execute onto bomb sites. Most of the players from Big were already on half HP. So at that point, simple mop-ups. Even Edward and Zeus were hitting some fantastic shots. You could see how confident they were coming into this. From that pistol round, Simple's opening kill, it really set the tone. Jump up on the lower dark box, you were dead, the round's over. From that point, it just felt simple as anything.
Yeah, I mean, we keep saying Simple, and the way he held that B site threat, I mean, not many people can get away with that.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like Big's game plan was actually working. They made those B splits. They came in from dark and middle at the same time. They had a really good timing. I think a lot of the situations, they were in a 4v4, so heavily advantaged.
Right.
But then Simple. He just gets like 3 Ks out of an impossible situation.
Right, if you're an AWP, solo on site, Edward's dead, he got 1. You're not supposed to get 3 more. I mean, they know where you are.
He wasn't pressured at all, though, was he? He had so much time. That's the thing. He could sit behind the box for as long to hit the shots. That's no easy feat. That's the most difficult part. But he didn't feel like he was actually having to squirm. You look at the 2 rounds the Big won. What were the common themes in both of those rounds?
You tell me. They got the bomb down?
Overextension from the players on Na'Vi. Both times the player got caught out in T-spawn. You know that round where Edward pushed up a dark? He should have played to contain. He pushed all the way through, and he dropped the Zeus one. I'll let him off the hook. The fact of the matter was it was already in B, and Tabson was just waiting. You know, it's basically when you're at home and you're playing matchmaking or deathmatch, and someone, probably you, Alex, likes to sit on that ramp at spawns with an AWP killing people. That's kind of what that round felt like to me.
Yeah, not for me, though. I like to move.
Oh, you like to move?
I
You
can't
like to be
stand
mobile?
still. I get very bored. I kind of like, well,
Fidgety.
nothing's happened. Nothing's happened for the last 10 seconds. I really need to get moving, and move on we shall, because there's not much more to be said about Dust 2, and we'll move into a map that not many of our analysts saw coming. Now, you did kind of label this one as somewhat of a mistake in your eyes, without knowing, of course, the preparation that Na'Vi have done. They chose to take it to Nuke.
Yeah, and that's where preparation, not necessarily of your opponent, but in your own, how well organized you can be as a unit comes into play. And you'd think Big would have more of that, because the play style of Na'Vi is to break your economy and be more free-flowing, use your stars to the best of their ability. But in that first game, the shoe was on the other foot. Na'Vi looked well organized, and Big looked completely flat and lost.
Yeah, and I think Na'Vi's thought process with picking Nuke is actually, they knew that Gobi was going to expect train and overpass. He was going to prepare for those maps. So they said, let's throw a curveball, let's go to Nuke. However, right now, when they won 6-2 on their map, I think they should have just gone for the regular maps.
And let's not forget, it's a momentum game. Na'Vi are going to be starting on the T side of Nuke, and therefore perhaps the I don't want to use the word momentum again, the speed by which they've picked up Dust 2 is definitely going to drive them into this T side.
Yeah, the bigger problem is the duels aren't offered up to you in the same way as Dust 2. We talk about maps like Dust 2, the Caches, the Mirages of the world. They can be aim maps, whereas Nuke, you know, you actually have to use utility to find yourself a kill on that T side. That's a big problem. You need to use the utility to find the opening. So Big really have a chance to bounce back here. An issue for them is none of the individuals are firing right now. Tizian had 7 kills, Smooya had 7. You look down the bottom, Gobi with 3, and Tabson only had 6. That was 9 for next. Nobody hit double digits in a match. It's not even a warm-up.
Let's not forget, that's a great point, is that you really, if you're Gobi and you've actually killed 3 people so far on this main stage, you're not feeling particularly fresh coming into potentially your last map of the major. This is crunch time. This is it. Do or die, sink or swim, the map Nuke. And you start on the CT side. There is definitely some win conditions here for Big to take us to a 3rd round.
But I think Na'Vi's just going to go for those slow yard plays. They're going to utilize Simple's off try to push down. I don't think they should use the wall of smokes. I think they should
really?
just throw flashes, get Simple up on the red container, let him take the deep peaks, and maybe try to get into garage.
We have seen, though, that Smooya is more than happy to take fights outside. They lost to complexity, right? And Smooya had some good rounds, he had some bad rounds, but he can be exploited in that way. A key point for me was the first gun round. Last time we saw Big on this map, they force-fought after losing pistol, which meant they went into the first gun round with no Molotovs. Complexity just did a top rush, and they got offered up 2 free kills. They can't let that happen again, but they also shouldn't play scared. They should try to play to win the rounds. If they go for the save coming out of this and then still don't prioritize Molotovs in the first gun round, they've made both mistakes. You can go for the force buy, but then get the UMPs when you're defending top so you can get the Molotovs up, and you won't just let Na'Vi run away with it, because that momentum, like you've mentioned, can continue very easily.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, it's moments like these that truly define a team, define a player, and define just how high you can climb. You've just lost a map in a disastrous fashion. You now go into your opponent's pick. This is where you either fall or you rise to the occasion, and it's time to see how it plays out. Will Big Clan, will UK Counter-Strike, or will this be it for the Big Clan boys? It's over to your casters, James Bardolph and DDK.
Thank you, boss. Now, again, this is a pick of Na'Vi, which means that you should be ashamed of yourself.
I think it's going to be interesting as well, because we'll get to see Na'Vi play T-side now. We didn't really get to see all too much of them. We just saw them defending, receiving those plays from Big. But now, it is, as you mentioned, Big start on that T-side. They won't have to worry about taking that initiative as much, setting the pace as much. It's going to be more about adapting to your opponent, and I am so curious to see if we can see more of that simple defense also replicated on the offense. And we are about to find out, because we have started the pistol round. We are live, map 2 here, Big versus Na'Vi, and indeed Na'Vi on the offensive.
Yeah, Na'Vi 2 for 2 on pistol rounds so far. Can they continue that trend here on Nuke? 4 sets of Kevlar for Big. Got B with a CZ. In a rush position. As you can see, Smooya's in the vent. The thing is, if you're going to play here, you want to CZ, because with a USP, I mean, at least he won't be shooting their Kevlar, or a 5.7 would he be even better. 20 bullets would be quite nice. Looking for the 1 shots towards the ramp position, but no advantage just yet for either side.
You don't want Teasing to go down. He's going to be more interested in just falling down to the lower site rather than putting himself in an at-risk position. And Simple, and meanwhile, is by the squeaky door, looking for that opening, looking for someone to get a bit too greedy on their peaks, and he can shut them down. No one just yet. They'll just push in anyway. My goodness, baby, just 180 out of the door there, but it will be controlled here. That CZ in the hands of God B doing some damage, and now Na'Vi on the back foot. Oh, Tizzy's moved into a forward position. That's a master stroke. Catches both suits and electronic. Unknowing, but it's Simple, James. And the 1v4 with a P250 and Kevlar. But, oh, that is very nice, but not nice enough to stop the likes of Smooya. That's Big with the pistol. That's what you want to see.
Warning shots from Simple, but that was great tracking towards the ramp position there, with the player jumping as well. Very important frag, stopping them from escaping. Tizian, he's been good so far. So you see the idea is that the T jumps off of the ceiling and lands quickly again to avoid being headshot. It's something you used to see RPK doing on Cash. I think Saucy used to do that. He was famous for doing those kind of plays, so see that leaking into CSGO as well. HE is being delivered to the outside. More vintage stuff. Definitely some damage. There's a flick there from Simple, and Smee's on 32 HP. Better be careful.
Yeah, that first scout tag might be a bit more coy now. Look, all down to 1 HP. Oh, he's in the open. Edward finishes him off with the Deagle. You can see that scout shot from Simple just doing so much there. And Smooya, he didn't want to give up the position, rightly so, but now a 5v4 for Na'Vi in this force buy scenario. And we'll have to see if they can convert on this. It can get awkward for Big, but this is a good map if you're a CT side. You lose a player, you just tighten your rotations, you tighten your defense, you can change the setup really easily as a team. Just have to make sure you don't give up any free 1v1s.
Next getting aggressive, and you can see Zeus's position. This is actually a common position on Nuke if you're playing anti-eco. That's a nice shot, monsieur. It's a strong position if you're playing anti-eco and most of your team are outside. If there's a push from Ramp, if there's a push from Squeaky or from Hut, you can easily retreat. You've got lots of close quarters engagements where you can take a 1v1 and continue to fall back. So getting a frag there on an eco round is quite nice as well. And now we see the 30-second mark, and it's a 5 versus 3 for Na'Vi as they move into B.
This is very scary for Big. What are they going to be able to do about this? Just holding their ground for now is